Welcome back to AMTV News. I'm your anchor, Topher Morrison. It is Thursday, November 29th, 2012. First up, Christians are slaughtered in Syria. Twin car bombs killed 20 in pro-Assad Christian Druze neighborhood of Damascus, purportedly by rebel groups. Look at every country the U.S.-backed regimes or rebels are in conflict, and you'll likely find Christians in exodus. From Afghanistan to Syria, an irony of irony for those pro-anything our military does as good conservatives. For those bleeding heart, democracy is panacea, humanitarianism is war liberals out there. The new recognized leader of the Syrian opposition, Moaz el-Khatib, is a dyed-in-wool oil executive jonesing to set up shop in Syria. There's something for everyone here. It is curious to note that according to West Point, the very same rebel forces the West backs in Syria and behind which most mainstream support is focused are the very same forces responsible for the bloodbath of sectarian violence experienced in Iraq during the occupation. According to this map, indicating the epicenters of violence in Syria, the exact same hotbeds for Al-Qaeda in 2007 now serve as the epicenters of so-called pro-democracy fighters. The fiscal cliff and the 91% tax rate. Paul Krugman made waves the other day when he advocated for a return to 1950s economics. Wait, I thought turning back the clock was for teabaggers and gold bugs. No? To be fair, he just wanted a return to the 1950s when top income tax rates were at 91%, and when the U.S. economy skipped along at 3.5%, and when middle-income families had the largest income increases ever in history. Oh yeah, and when most of America was part of a union. In his article, The Twinkie Manifesto, however, his logical fallacies quickly collapse under the weight of countervailing facts. He fails to mention Europe and Asia, where in post-war shambles, the U.S. was a creditor nation rather than facing a fiscal cliff. Effective tax rates after loopholes were over 30% less than he suggests. And oh yeah, the economist Krugman cites Thomas Piketty clarified things a bit. Quote, I firmly believe that imposing a 70 or 80% marginal rate on large segments of the population, say 25% of the population, or even 10%, or even a few percentage points, would lead to an economic disaster. Barack Obama and nearly every liberal in Congress has at one time or another mentioned that magical number that divides haves from have-nots, $250,000. You know the one I'm talking about. Nearly every article you read on this subject says top marginal tax rate, ad nauseum. You don't know what they're talking about, so I'll give it to you. The Tax Policy Center says that in the 1950s, these individuals that were making $3 million a year were taxed at that 91% rate. Now, as an aside, there were 25 hedge fund managers that made $1 billion last year. In other words, 685,000 teachers, or 150 with pension and benefits. Just joking. When talking about who to tax, let's make sure our audience knows who exactly we are talking about, lest along with the infamous 1%, we crush most of American small business, the ones who account for the most of our economic growth. This day in 1947, the UN had a partition plan for Palestine. Little teaser, it works out perfectly. In the power vacuum post-World War I, after dismantling the Ottoman Empire, Palestine was governed under the British Mandate from 1920 to May of 1948. Two rival movements, Zionism and Arab nationalism, grew in that period. The UN attempted to establish a partition plan in 1947 in an effort to appeal to both sides. However, Palestinians and the Arab community at large rejected the proposal. The British left, and a civil war ensued. And well, the rest is history. And while war is sometimes inevitable, the real question is, did it have to involve the entire planet? I don't know about you, but I love graphs. Graphs. While it came out a couple days ago that there is a record durable good inventory in this economy, the non-sexy, non-fungible number, new capital good orders, according to Zero Hedge, quote, technically defined as the year-over-year change in non-defense capital goods, excluding aircraft, denotes we are in full-blown recession. We've just suffered the biggest decline since 2009, and look at this graph. Wonder where this puts us amidst prior recessions? Check out the gray areas. It's Project A119, the plan for the U.S. to blow up the moon. Call it lunar terrorism, but it was real and you thought Operation Northwoods was bizarre. This one takes the cake. It also breaks my heart because my boy Carl Sagan was part of it. He used to be such a good boy. Amidst the depths of the Cold War nearly 60 years ago, most likely in a smoke-filled room, the federal government, along with hand-picked scientists, designed a project to vaporize part of the moon and terrorize the leaders of the USSR. The ferocious blast delivered from an ICBM and subsequent molten crater would have remained for days in the skies above the Soviet Union, displaying for all of our comrades the hubris and/or power of the United States. We'll never know. And according to the United States Air Force, the Daily Caller reports, no comment. Shocker. More U.S. corporations are burned in Bangladesh. The latest in a long line of cinders burning across the textile slave trap known as Bangladesh reveals more than just Walmart and Sean P. Diddy Combs as international sweatshop tycoons. Add to the list the harder side of Sears and Mickey Mouse. That's right, lock them up. But what do you expect from the mega merchants? There is a high price to pay for the low cost and quality, for that matter, of the things we buy, especially in bulk. If you buy from big retailers, this is and always will be a fact of life somewhere. Therefore, vote with your dollars. Buy locally. Buy it from a boutique. Make your own. Look good naked. It's your choice. What world do you want to be a part of? A big one or a small one? Obama dipped in pee-pee. This is going to be great. Glenn. Man, I used to watch his show religiously. He at times rejected the military-industrial complex, advocated for smaller government, states' rights, fair taxation, but then, every once in a while, he flips on you. He starts crying, carrying water for Israel, jumps the shark a few times, and then starts dropping Obama into a jar of his own piss and puts it on eBay for 25 grand. It gets a bit exhausting. I get it, Beck. In 1987, they put the graven image of Jesus in a bucket of piss, against the Ten Commandments, by the way, and not the Jewish-looking bride, and got paid by the federal government. Let it go, bro. Leave the culture war to the leprechaun at Fox News. Capturing every corner of the alternative media, watch AMTV News Monday through Friday. For more videos like these, visit amtvmedia.com, home of the AMTV network, the voice of independence.